TicTalk, 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 talk.
A real Celtic talk show by real Celtic fans from the Carluke Shamrock Supporters Club on Hail, Hail Media.
TicTalk, 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 talk.
Hail, hail, and welcome to TicTalk with the Carluke Shamrock Celtic Supporters Club. My name is Vincent, and this podcast being recorded on Wednesday the 13th of November. You can find more information about the club at carlukeshamrock.com and details of the podcast and other Celtic family podcasts at hailhailmedia.com. On the podcast tonight, we'll have a fair bit to say on the game against Ajax and the events surrounding that game. We'll be looking back at the weekend win over Ross County, and we'll have a wee look forward to our next home game a week on Saturday against Aberdeen. We'll then round off all of that with some hot topics and quite a lot of news, and then we'll finally have our usual shambolic shenanigans. So tonight on our panel we have
Johnny,
Michael,
Kevin,
Brian,
the media darling, Brian.
we've,
Staying Chris Graham's place is the media darling, isn't it?
we've managed to secure Brian through his many agents. He's not just got one agent, you know.
Right.
But we've secured these services tonight, and he's promised he'll stay for 5-10 minutes.
Vinny, you're getting good at this.
Okay, so I think the hot topic certainly being the Ajax game. So around this table we've got 4 out of 5 people.
Why is there no biscuits?
There's no biscuits, but what there is
So we've got Madeira cakes. Who was in Madeira?
I've been
Ronaldo,
in Madeira.
Cristiano.
And we have Pearl's Dutch apple cake.
I'm not beating that.
I'm not touching
Is that not something you'd win at a bingo night or something you're mocking bank? Say, I won that, here, eat
That's
that.
it's
You know what I
out of
mean?
date.
That's a booby prize.
It's not a day, but I think it's just about to get launched somewhere.
Brian's got his eye in it, I can see that.
Do you bring that, Vincent?
I brought that.
Brian wants to take
I've lost a few things about here.
Johnny, why did you need to ask which pub we were in? Can you say that?
So we're in new surroundings tonight. We're in the upstairs curtain. We want to call it the upstairs curtain.
Bar 30.
Bar 30.
Tabs.
Over 30.
We're definitely over 30, aye. Okay, so I think we'll crack right on and we'll talk about the Ajax match. We've got 4 out of 5 on the table. We're in Amsterdam. 3 out of 4 went together, is that right? And Johnny, you went with Jason, was it? Right?
That's right.
You went to Jason.
Home boys.
Were you at the game?
I managed to get in 25 minutes in, yeah.
You get in twice.
How did you
I threw it once and get out of the Celtic end.
How did you manage that?
Because he's a silver-tongued devil.
No, I went out to the Ajax end and the security guard says to me, in Dutch, of course.
Well, I know you're fine. You're fine.
Turn round, and of course, I never knew what he was saying. So he said it again, and I just stared blankly at him. And the wee Ajax fan, I think he says, turn round. So I turned round, searched me, asked me for ID, gave him my ID, he says, you're from Glasgow, get out.
Is that what he said?
Yep.
Did you say no, I'm
No,
pick a look?
I says, listen, mate, I'm just going to watch a game, I'm no bothered about costing any.
You said this in Dutch or?
Whatever. Well, it probably sounded Dutch at the time, right?
You'd been out all day,
But the thing about it was, he just fired me right out these 2 swing doors. And
Did he hit you in the way out?
no, that's how fast he threw me out.
Right, because when we were checking out at our hotel, there was a guy in similar circumstances where I sat down and at the breakfast, I don't know if you guys met him, guy with the baldy head with his wife, and he was in the accent, and he sat down, quite a thing, never opened his mouth, and then somebody said something to him, and he acknowledged the guy, and he went, but, and as I threw him out, they gave him a few hits.
Well, it's funny you should say that because the guy out his way
I deserved a few minutes.
was a guy for Liverpool, and he went in a bus, and he had the ticket beside me. He got in no problem. There was a guy in front of me with a Celtic scarf on, with a can of Heineken in his pocket, and me and wee John, Scouse John, were looking and saying, "We'll be all right here. He'll get through it first." But it was me that gets through it. The guy got in with a can of Heineken, and so did John. But I think it was the turn around in Dutch that got me.
As it would.
But I managed to get in the Celtic end, so
How did you manage that?
Well, I stood, if you remember, there were 3 or 4.
Right.
It wasn't turnstiles, you just walked through them. And
Well,
they
we were in the Ajax end as well.
Well, at the Celtic end, they were. You could walk through.
There's 4 turnstiles.
There were
we
no.
walked in.
Do you know the barrier things that you could
Yeah.
through the turnstile? There were none of them. You just went through. You showed your ticket. There were Celtic stewards. There were Ajax stewards, and I tried to get in. Obviously, and they're like, on your way, blah blah blah. But what I noticed was.
You're for Holland.
No, but for the amount of Celtic fans getting in, there was 2 or 3 getting fired back out.
Yeah.
So I says to the Celtic stewards, I says, what's going on here? I says, you're meant to be the liaison officers between the Ajax stewards and us, and the Celtic fans are getting through, and basically they're right on your way, you're not getting in. So I just hung about, and maybe about 20 minutes they all dispersed. I walked in where they had left, and there was a lassie going in, an Irish lassie, and she says to me, what you know, why are you not going in? I says, well, I've not got a ticket and I've already been through it twice. She's like, well, I've got one, we'll have a double click. There's all double click.
Does Christine know about this double click?
She doesn't listen to that. So what happens is the two, she's like, right, it was one of the e-tickets.
Aye, that's what we had.
Aye, that's what I had going in the first time. And so I scanned it and I'm trying to grab her in. She was
Returned.
A double click, I like you said that.
she had a few.
Steen is well on.
Yeah, so we gets in. I gets in and she's stuck in the turnstile.
So you bolted or left her?
No, I never bolted.
He's a gentleman.
No, I never bolted because they stopped me again and they searched me and asked, where's your ticket? I said, I've just dropped it on the way in, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, alright, yes. And next thing, like, right, on you go. And I'm like, oh no, that lassie's not going to get in. And I felt horrible, and I mean it, I did. And just as I was going up the stairs to get away from it all and get into the game, I seen them letting her in, so
She got
So that was
Your conscience was clear.
it was indeed. And
You've
when
only done a runner.
I went into the stadium, I thought to myself, why am I here?
And I want to get in.
Because I've never seen as many people lying about, as many seats in all my life, and a big net up in front of you. And
Johnny, well, we were in the Ajax end, and we were at the same end, same goal end, but the opposite corners flag.
Yep.
And it's the quietest Celtic support I've ever heard in
And
my
that
life.
was
It was. You could have heard the pin drop.
Well, the
where
thing-
we for.
But because it was quiet, when you're sitting in the Ajax end, doesn't it mean that you should be trying to start songs? And that's, I had it all game, man. Honestly, I don't know. I can't believe we never get thrown out.
Aye, that was amazing.
Well,
I can't believe.
We'd had a half Ajax and half Celtic. So we got to the ground really early,
Aye.
and we recce'd stuff, and then we just went to a big, smashing big bar
Aye,
across the road. It was
crack.
all a big Heineken bar, all glass fronted.
Yeah, I've seen it coming off the train.
It was really intimidating getting in. I felt you
was
no remember
Take
much about
us
it.
back to the Shambolic on tour. Take us back to how you got there, if you don't mind. Just for a listeners who don't know how
The
you
ferry. The ferry was great. We arrived in
Now, where did you leave Kirlook, and how did you leave Kirlook?
2 cars.
2 cars to where?
Newcastle.
2 cars to
Overnight,
Newcastle.
15-hour ferry for Newcastle.
I like the sound of that.
We arrived quite sharp actually.
Have you ever seen that old programme, The Love Boat? It was fuck all like that. It was just rebelled up.
The rebel boat.
We talk about 2 cabins first and foremost that you slagged us about for the whole trip.
Well,
Money was away from
it's just suffice to say, John Haddo, a pensioner, subsidised Michael, Brian Conley, and Luigi Loader. Well off guys in Kirlook.
Oh, aye, very well.
They were well respected guys in Kirlook. John Haddo subsidised for them to live in luxury on the trip over.
Well, he was putting the underwater deck.
He was putting
It was the engine room, isn't it?
I need to
He had to shovel the coal. Absolutely ridiculous.
That's-
I mean,
that's fucking-
and it's the brass
Well,
neck.
John told me you done that in Titanic anyway.
One of the few survivors.
The brass neck. Well, there was the way the passports come back. I'm like, oh,
I handed the 5 passports into the lassie at the desk, and she handed them back, and inside your passport was your ticket for your room.
But he handed the 5 passports, 3 in that hand and 2 in that. That's for the suite.
that's for the suite and that's for the engine room.
So anyway, our suite had a mini bar with champagne and all that in it, and
It was a nice snooker table as well. and
aye.
see when you went through the kitchen, by the lounge and into the bedroom. It was
And the
lovely.
rest-
Honestly,
rest-
I had to share a double bed with Brian Conley.
Shocking, absolutely shocking. John Haddle, pensioner, pillar of the community,
What you need to remember here is
brought
Kevin said
up
here,
these guys.
John Haddle's
shafted.
room. John Haddle's room, right, was a nice room, bunk beds, right. The toilet was inside the shower.
John's 67. How can he get up the top bunk?
That's why Doogie was there, right. But Brian Conley, as
Bus
everybody
convener
knows,
gets a shitty room as well.
right, Brian Conley, first thing he done when he went into the room, you remember, you can't open the windows in this room, right, because obviously it's underwater, right. He turns up the thermostat full in the room as he walks in, thinking, oh, I'll have a laugh, turns the thermostat up. John Haddle, the rest of us were up, met the guys for a drink, went to their bed about 2 in the morning and walked in, it was like a sauna. John never slept a wink.
Oh, he wasn't happy at breakfast.
So you're 15 hours in the ferry,
Yes.
sailing into where? Straight into
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
I'm a gin or
You'll be
something.
dancing in the streets of Wraith.
10 kilometres away. So then a bus off onto buses that were there and then shut straight into the city centre, central station.
So where were you staying?
Well, see, before
Some
you took that-
hotel on know how Celtic published a list of the places
Places to
not
avoid.
to go.
And the
The
pub-
Our hotel was on that square. Rembrandt
The
Square.
pub Monaco that he told Celtic fans to avoid was downstairs for us. That wasn't quite, it was across the road, but it was, aye, that was funny. We were hanging the flag out the window and stuff, we just couldn't get in to tie it on it. Because we were obviously wanting to attract attention to ourselves and make it exciting.
I mean, we'll come on to the match, but so where were any of us near the border when it kicked
We
off?
were all, Kevin and I, thankfully, had just left because I was wanting to get him near the ground early when it wasn't too busy in the train. And but Kieran and Joseph and John and Michael and them were caught up in
I
it.
could talk this section out here because I think you guys had all been about the game at this point. We were in the big square, the Dam Square, outside this bar with a
Euro
canopy-
pub.
Euro pub with a canopy out the front, and it's typical, I don't know, 100, 200 people standing outside the pub drinking away, and you could tell the tension was getting there. About 6:20, it then turns out you could feel it getting a wee bit, there was something not quite right. I went into the pub to go to the toilet, like we all did. I looked, and there was a bit of an angle for looking when you walked out the pub, and I could see these horses charging about. Oh, what's going on in fucking here, you know what I mean? And the guy shot.
You were smoking, you must have played Derby.
They bounced around the door when they let us out, right? So you've got to picture the scene here, guys. It was like glass fronted doors, right? And it was all locked. I was trying to get out, and all I could see was our guys, Brian, Dougie, John Haddle, Luigi stood against the thing. The guy in the pub pulled the canopy back. So that meant the horses could get closer to the glass, which was shocking, right? I said, we're getting you out. I went out and grabbed John, thinking we'd get him into the pub. Guy locked the door, wouldn't let us back in. So I grabbed John into this doorway, like I think everybody's been talking about it on Twitter and things like that. And what it was an executive apartment with maybe about 3 metres square. And it was like we were getting in, and there was lassies, kids, and they were all screaming, and they were all basically saying, this must be what it was like. And I'm not being this bad here, but this was a comment that was made, this must be what Hillsborough felt, because people were just getting squashed in, right? And I've got John Haddle crouched in, and Brian was in. Luigi actually got the horse come right across Luigi's face, licked it. He was very lucky. But that was the only time I never seen the person on the back of the policeman or the woman. It was a woman in this case. She lifted her visor up and says, out to everybody.
Was that the big woman that looked like Mrs. Trenchbull out of Madeline?
Aye.
Seen her?
And you know what? That was the first time I never seen them hitting anybody with a baton, and I don't know how Luigi never got hit with a baton. And he doesn't know it to this day.
Joseph said the horse, it came right up to the door, and
Right
the
up.
horse's head came right through the
Right
door.
in. They couldn't go anywhere.
It was that away from his nose, 6 inches away from his nose.
Then
She
what-
just got planted a big kiss on it.
Then what they done was they get the horse away and they put a police sort of armoured car right in front of us as if we couldn't go anywhere. And we were thinking, well, we're done here, we're getting lifted, where are we going? Next minute it said out, and we just went out, turned left, and it was up an alleyway, and we're going anywhere here.
Belfast,
You know?
Armoured car.
Aye. And
Belfast boy.
What I was worried about is with the way Michael had treated John Haddle on holiday, I thought he was going to use him as a human shield. Like, where's John Haddle? I need to have
actually,
I don't think there's
Kevin.
any excuse for him to not getting away, because there were plenty of bikes there to get on there.
But I mean,
one of the guys in our company, just before we jump on a wee bit funny, one of the guys in our company, Big Steph, we all know him, right? And he's obviously the bucky and the drink and whatever else, right? But where is he? He was in the middle of it. He was in the middle of the screen, he went up to see what was going on. I'm like to him, I says, so we grabbed him back, managed to get him back to the pub we were in. You know what I mean? It was frightening. It really was. 'Cause I remember being in Leon, and the Leon fans attacked the square, but it was nothing compared to that.
And that was a police attack in the square this time.
Aye.
Well, that was well orchestrated with the police.
Aye.
That was the police's way of dispersing us to the match. Simple.
So,
I'll tell you
or
why.
dispersing you to go and watch shit in a pub somewhere.
Aye, yeah. But I'll tell you why, because just 2 seconds before it, I mentioned it on Homeboys the other night. Me and Jason had nipped into young Joe's pal, had a hotel just round the corner for the square. We went in, did the toilet and that, and we come back out. And I've got a video on my phone, the daylight.
Yeah, you showed me it.
And it's just, when we come back out of there, it was just getting the dark way. And that's when it all started. And I noticed them running beside the side of these vans. And I'm saying, what's going on here? And they're guys with shields. And I walked towards them to go back to where I was. And they kind of had a 2 or 3 steps towards me, or 2 or 3 other people. And oh, this is...
There's something wrong.
And when I went into the square, all hell had broke loose.
I have to talk about it the other night.
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
I think one of the hardest parts I found was guys, Celtic fans, getting like trying to get away, and these unarmed guys, or what do you call undercover guys, were booting them, and then they were getting down the ground, and they were handcuffing them, and they were dragging them.
Yeah.
Guys nearly get arms broke. And I'm like, I says to Brian, I says, if I get involved here, we'll try to help the guy. I'm left it. I'm done. Right, and see the guy who I read about on Twitter, I think they've done a big thing about the guy. He's been caught, he's in the jail and whatever else, and he's like, I only tried to help, I've not got a police record and all this here. And it was just
The thing is, it could have been any one of us at this
one of us,
table.
Brian, exactly. That's what
got
that's
it, and
what
it's an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
there's
It was indiscriminate, and it was totally out of proportion. If there was a bit of trouble, then the police have got a duty to isolate that and not attack innocent people with batting charges on mounted police. Absolutely disgusting.
The thing about it is there's two young boys over there. They're in the cell. Right?
What happens with them?
The main thing is to get them home. See, as far as taking it any further, you're as well forgetting it.
No, that's exactly.
They have been given the go-ahead
To the mayor.
for the mayor. That is their way of dealing with the so-called hooligans.
Well, that's it. They're unanswerable.
Yeah,
and they weren't dealing with hooligans. They were dealing with Celtic supporters who every other city we go and visit.
Commended.
Applauded, and we get awards for the behaviour of our fans, and we go there.
The Dutch media's picked up it now as well, and the lawyer that's involved with the two kids. So just get the boys.
But you're right, get them home,
don't go back.
and don't go back.
If we ever get them again, okay.
Because I was at the last.
Celtic should
I was at the
refuse
3-1
tickets.
game, and it was actually.
We don't need that. I mean, I've been going away to see Celtic 1983-84, and I've never seen anything like
You've
that.
been treated like shit with herding in and herding out, but I've never been attacked with police in that way.
undercover.
Did you see the pub, the CCTV, the pub getting attacked on the Tuesday night as well?
I've seen it.
I mean, that was unbelievable.
Savage.
It's CCTV from the area it was in, and it's just you don't actually see the door of the pub, but you see a window, and they all come running down the street. They've all got hoods up and scarves tied round, and they're sort of with chibs. Do you know what I mean? They're there for bother, and then they start getting into the pub. And you can see a boy. There was a window, and they chap the window, and the boy turns around like that. Next minute, someone goes through the window, and then you just see the boy cowering under, getting hits, not from the outside, but from the group that had preceded that had went in. And they were walking in with chibs, and then you just seen flashing lights appear on the sign, and then they all bolted. It was absolutely unbelievable.
I mean, the guy that came on to Homeboys, who now lives over there, his wife's Dutch. And he's the guy that's got, is it Padraig's? He's got his passport and his clothes, been trying to get to the prison and pass these things over. But they both made a comment about it no particularly being unusual, about the other teams that have went there, other teams' fans, and this isn't an unusual occurrance.
No, and I had.
So it's not like it's a one-off. It's actually the way
There was more arrested during the Milan visit. The last time Milan, there was more arrests of Milan fans, and it was a similar kind of.
The Milan,
just
the Italian fans, it's very, and I said this, and I think it was Dougie when the following day. It's a very following football's a very masochistic thing. In Italy, it's the same, and in Holland, it's the same. When you go to Italian football, you see the Italian fans even that come over to Celtic Park. There's not many women amongst them. It all tends to be kind of guys in their late teens or early 20s, and they all look as if they can take care of themselves. And that's why I can understand when the Milan fans went over there. They would have had a team that were more than capable. I've been at the airport in Barcelona when come home for a Celtic game a few years ago, and there was a plane full of Roma fans came into Barcelona on their way to London. And honest to God, you were looking at these guys and you're like, when they arrived in London, they're going to go to town. They just looked menacing and evil. And you tend to find that these countries have got that kind of masochistic, neo-Nazi type group of fans that follow them. And I can understand why Milan, but that's a different type of fan group from the vast majority of people that are over there supporting Celtic.
But apparently they have got this element, and that's the element that you saw in the night before, and there was an element of it. I think the scarier bit is the bit that Brian alluded to, which is almost, and Michael, is the undercover element. So in actual fact, at one point you think you're being attacked by casuals, and it turns out it's undercover.
You fight back, and you get arrested.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
You defend yourself and get arrested.
Somebody said it was you?
That's my point.
Was you said that? You said that homeboy, or was it Jason, had actually said, you know, if one of my mates get pulled with a post and a uniform, I'm not going to go up there and wade in. However, if it's the other way about, and it's somebody who looks as if it's a fan, you're going to get it.
And of course it is. So the tactics are questionable.
The tactics, that's another thing. See, Ajax, Amsterdam. It's a big place, big in the surrounding area. Everybody supports Ajax. There's no other team in Ajax.
The police included.
Also.
I don't know. Well, we bumped into quite a lot of people who said they were fair.
Do you know say there's a lot
of hotel and stuff like that?
But obviously they're there for maybe work or a day out or something.
Did you not say there was other teams fans?
I never seen any other team fans. We met.
But there was other games or something going on, wasn't there?
On the Thursday night, Zagreb were playing PSV. We met them on the way home. But
so I thought as well, the other thing that the police, I did think it was just to absolutely clear the square. There was some isolated incidents that they could have dealt with better, but there was 12,000 Celtic fans over there, 3,000 of tickets. So normally the people would be going and sitting in the square. It got to a certain point, they would all actually start dispersing to the game. I think a lot of the people who were left in the square at that time, they would have had no intentions of leaving the square until close to kick-off. And I think the police just got to the point, well, they've been here all day, but they don't seem to be going anywhere, and that's because the vast majority of them wouldn't have tickets. And they just decided, we need to clear this area, and they just...
the Dutch royal family were involved.
Well, they used any excuse, so there might have been... there was some silly things you see on YouTube, like whoever chucked the firework and stuff like that, but that was just an excuse for them to react in an absolutely ridiculous fashion and stuff.
No, there wasn't.
But I don't think that's the key bit.
No, none whatsoever.
That's the key bit. I don't think it was a reaction. I think Johnny's point's right. I think it's all premeditated. It's kind of get the buttons out.
But I think that's what Kevin's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. He said they were using these things as excuses.
So that was their excuse to go in. If it hadn't been that, they would just have found something else to do it.
Yeah.
So
what about your lamppost?
The boy, the
finger pole.
But that was the guy. That was the policeman that gave your boy
kicked his teeth out.
Kicked his teeth out.
But actually, I watched. See when he hit the pole, I was.
The boys laid into
him. They laid into him. But there were Celtic fans. Once they seen it was going out the order, we're over. Right, enough's enough.
The poles gave him enough.
But you could see because the way they were all running towards them, and he tried to get on the tram, and the tram just started moving. The door shut at the wrong time and just turned out.
That tram was part of the plan as well.
Johnny's got a conspiracy here.
It didn't work out for him.
No, they were not on that tram because that tram was to stop you going across.
Getting further out.
So you could go right towards the central station. Believe me.
It was a ridiculous overreaction. I'm glad we were on the air.
Actually away a guy that's he's Dutch. He's got no time for any MD for Amsterdam or Ajax, and he actually talked us through the full day and told us what would happen. And we says, no, we're Celtic,
Was it you that said you even walked by a group of them when they were almost kind of congregating, ready to invade the square? Or was it Jason that mentioned that?
I never seen any Ajax fans.
No, sorry, the undercover cops.
Yeah, I did. I seen them. And,
you've got them in video as well. They're walking by. You showed me at the weekend.
What they were doing was running beside the vans.
Aye, these ones.
4 of them at either side of it running, and I'm saying,
Aye.
There's another
It's just
comment I picked up on the boys, which was about almost our liaison guys who are the Scottish counterparts.
Where were they?
There was a couple. Well, it was almost one of the guys
Scotland?
reported that a comment was made that these guys have absolutely lost the plot, and this was one of the Scottish police had commented that. I don't know how verified that is, but
Atlan says to me, Atlan, who's our friend,
it's a Dutch guy, that.
yeah, Atlan says to me, they police are on cocaine. He says their eyes are popping out their head.
But that's see when you look at some of the footage, and that's
And
back to Brian's point as well.
And I think to myself,
I'm
well,
surprised.
I could believe that, or whether they're conditioned to act like that, to disperse a crowd. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'd be interested in seeing what the official Police Scotland report on it.
If there is one.
There's been a mention of undercover.
Well, they did.
And it says, watch
Focus,
yourself, guys, these people are after head.
but Focus follow Celtic abroad.
Yep.
So
Surely they weren't on a tea break when this all came out. Surely to God.
Having Dutch apple cake.
Or a debriefing session, is it? Is it a debriefing session when you want them to see stuff?
However, that was when we said that the boat, when we were going back to that, when we were on the boat, it was the party boat. It was phenomenal.
I'd probably as far as seems the best experience a Celtic fan going abroad in that section.
The DJ was playing the fields and Sean South and the full back of the biggest lounge was across the entire back and round. Zombie Nation, come on, you've not seen anything like it. You think when you see the Green Brigade doing it, you think it was boys up in chairs, boys on the dance floor. It was, and everybody was singing. It was absolutely.
I've got it in video.
Pandemonium.
And at that time of night, it must have been a wee bit rough because the boat was going like that. So, like, one half of the dance floor and they're doing Zombie Nation, they were all moving down the side. And then the boat was. The boat was falling the other way, and then they were all moving the other way. One guy nearly got trampled on. It was absolutely brilliant. I've got it in video. It's sensational.
Can we put that up as a video cast or something?
I don't know how you do it. Can you speak to a boss man for that?
It was absolutely tremendous.
Actually,
the boat. It was good. It kept us out of Amsterdam. They were only there for one night.
And me, Jason, and Joe and Chris, we had the ball as well. It's actually one of the best trips I've been on, apart from the 3 hours of the square and getting into the game and getting through it with the big guy. And for what?
I can't believe it.
I can't believe the guy getting in with the scarf. Absolutely. Rank.
Listen.
And the can of Heineken in his pocket.
The guy was any drunker than
You've
Kevin.
never ever seen me trying to sneak in and everything like that.
I just sat quietly all game.
You should have took a can away.
The problem I had with... Sorry, I'll let you carry on.
There you go.
No, the problem I had just with Kevin...
It was a slight issue.
Kevin touched on at the game, so... There was a guy about 6 rows behind us that I think was as drunk as Kevin, a Celtic fan, and they were like encouraging each other. So Kevin would shout something there, but I'd sit down. And then this boy up the back would shout something, and that would get Kevin up to shout, and then like, sit down. all game, sit down, until the last 10 minutes when I didn't care if I get chucked out then. It was a terrible game, but I didn't care if I get chucked out, so I was up as well. But they're no nice people, are they? The Ajax fans.
I shook hands with them all.
The Dutch. They're so far up their own arse, it's unbelievable.
I wouldn't stereotype that way. A whole nation. But I have to say, Ajax fans round about us, on the train, going to the game, on the train coming back for the game.
Even arriving at the station where I was Celtic wankers.
Aye, you're just weren't nice. Weren't welcoming, and this was what you would term their kind of decent fans, if you like, their normal fans, no their ultras, just their normal fans. You've been everywhere with Celtic, and you always get a welcome. Nothing from them, nothing.
You just look to you like that.
I wonder if we could have saw something coming for their trip over here right enough, do you know?
Well, we were well warned, but...
You look at it
Remember the last time they were here, in 2001, the same thing happened. They were all fighting among themselves that night.
That's right, I remember that.
Trip over there. We had a great time. What was it?
Celtic beat them 3-1, and in Celtic Park that night, they fought after maybe the wee boy scored, I can't remember his name.
Was it no other lads he scored or something?
No, he scored over there, but wee black guy, a great wee player, he scored their goal at Celtic Park. But as the game went on and on, they needed to win 3-0, and it was never going to happen. And they started that night as well. Believe me, I can remember.
I don't remember. I do remember the trip over there, but it was absolutely fantastic. We had a brilliant time. And the only bother we came up against was actually getting into the ground. And they were chucking stuff. They were chucking stuff. That's the only thing. And I'm sure they were chucking stuff when we were coming out as well. Because I'm sure the bit we were getting into, they were above us.
He says, "Come on." Remember?
But then he fell asleep.
It's when you look at the way Police Scotland treated them, because there are videos of them marching through Glasgow singing "F the Pope," and there's like 2 coppers and maybe 130 ultra-looking guys with no colours and stuff like that, and just allowed to roam wherever they wanted. Yet you go over there and you face that nonsense.
But if Police Scotland are more interested in arresting Celtic fans,
the face worse here is the home fans.
But what I will say, but if 12,000 Ajax fans went to Glasgow, that would never have happened. Although we're no lovers of our police, but our police would never have let that happen.
No, we wouldn't. They wouldn't have charged.
They wouldn't have tackled them. They wouldn't have. They also wouldn't have stopped those 12,000 fans who would have been intent in trouble. The way 2,000 of them reacted, they wouldn't have stopped them from attacking Celtic fans, because they couldn't even have stopped less than 3,000 of them attacking Celtic fans at the home game at Celtic Park. Our police. Anyway,
it's a whole different podcast.
No, but I'm not a lover of the police whatsoever, but controlling football games, the Scottish police are the best.
See, I disagree with you.
No, I will.
I beg to differ.
Well, when's the last time there was a major bother in Scotland in a football game?
There was trouble all over Glasgow 2 weeks ago. They all come up London Road through Bridgeton, and they were indiscriminately attacking Celtic fans, and there was no police presence, Johnny. That's how you knew it was going to be so volatile over there. We never tried the bus park. There was copper cars going in all directions, pulling up with the chopper overhead, trying to identify them, and they wouldn't get near them.
But I thought they were caught with their pants down a bit. Actually, I don't know that they anticipated that. I tend to agree with Johnny in terms of how our police, as much as we disagree with it,
No, I think our fans are just better
behaved.
behaved.
That's what it is.
That's a good point. But the thing being, I've never seen violence like I seen the other night since 1980 at Hampden Park.
That kind of.
And our fans are better behaved.
Our fans are civilised and don't go to football looking for trouble.
Since 1980 until then, I've been to many a game that there's been.
And the number of people that go to football matches in Scotland intent on looking for trouble in terms of the kind of casual element is minuscule in comparison with the overall numbers. And that's the difference.
And we spoke about that with their fans. Their ultras was 20% of their support.
It was unbelievable. So we were diagonally opposite. So they were on the same side as you, but along the opposite goal. Honest to God. So we've got Green Brigade, which is a few hundred. That section maybe holds 800, only a fraction of Green Brigade, I understand, but that section's maybe 800. That full corner at both top and bottom, when they started the drums and stuff going in.
Do you don't think maybe Ajax fans you realise they'll never, ever reach the heights that they once did before?
Celtic fans realise that?
We do.
It's not easy.
Ajax have won the European Cup 4 times, I think. They've won all the European trophies. It's just not going to happen again because they bring through these players and then they get through
I don't think
team,
I think it's a culture of them watching football.
Two of them will go shortly. The Fisher and the centre forward, I think, will go. Whereas years ago they might have got another 2 or 3 years and they maybe have went on like Patrick Kluivert and the two De Boers and that.
It just sounds to me as if they've got an element of support that are absolute just.
It's cultural. They go to football en masse. A significant proportion of the 50,000 crowd would be happy to go out and scrap with any opposition. It's just a mentality thing.
And it was prevalent in this country many years ago. It just so happens that we've managed to get rid of quite a lot of it. I wanted to just touch on how the media reported it, and given that we've got a media expert, I'll turn to him first.
Who's the media expert?
Brian, how do you feel?
You get interviewed
How do you
once.
feel your colleagues in the media have dealt with it?
My God. So
Your
I've
comrades,
had,
brothers.
Your
I've
brothers.
had quite a lot of compliments since my
Yep.
extensive interview, lasting all of about 15 seconds on
Was it an extensive
BBC
interview?
reporting Scotland.
Didn't broadcast the full element.
I was quite happy with
Can you
what we
just share with us?
did broadcast.
I thought you were excellent, by the way.
Thanks very much, Vincent.
Just share with us, how did you get involved in that, and what happened, and where were you interviewed?
In my office in Hamilton, it was via Paul Brennan, who got
Celtic quickly.
BBC had contacted him in relation to did he know anyone that was over or anything that had happened, and could they interview someone, and he instantly thought of me, obviously.
Because you don't drink.
Because you're over. Is this over 15 stone, or wasn't it?
No,
just
I was just
over.
joking. I think he had ran out, he exhausted all our options. He was looking for someone.
Cheap option.
No, someone articulate who could come across well and explain the situation, but they couldn't find anyone, so they asked me.
Boom, boom.
Boom.
Before we jump.
And that's how it came about, and I reluctantly, and that is genuine, reluctantly agreed to do it, because I'm no... Kevin will tell you, driving up the road, I'm like,
You're no open.
I didn't want to do that. It was quite funny, the 30 Facebook comments, face for radio. So the first couple were funny, but it just became tiring.
Mine's was about 24.
Just going back to their fans and the culture. I mean, they unfurled when the Champions League. I mean, the music was getting played. The Fenian Masters banner. I mean, what's that all about? You ever were going to do nothing about that? I mean, see if I had said, if it had been at Celtic Park and it had said Jewish instead of Fenian, what would I would cry all over Europe? Or if it said black, or if it said anything. So they were going to allow something that says Fenian bees.
I've got a story about that.
And the 21 grand is a joke, is an absolute joke.
I was just going to say that.
But they're getting the fine paid.
The zombies are going to...
I heard. So they couldn't save their own club from being liquidated and going out and ceasing to exist.
No, but actually, when
That's more than they got in the fighting fund.
I managed to meet Jason at near the end of the game, and I stood beside him, and this guy beside me actually shouted, "Aye, blah blah blah," to the Ajax fans who were just to our left, not where the banner was, but just to our left, where the very left, Celtic end in the corner, and he's shouting "Fenian bees." And I'm like, what's happening here? Then the next thing he shouted it again, and I'm like, Jason, by the way, do you hear him? But he's saying, Jason's like, no, what's he saying? So at that, I just left it, and I thought, maybe he's... But at that time, I never realised that he'd put the
big banner
up, and this is what he was saying to the calling us. But just shows, you know what I mean?
But
I never knew that till I get here.
It was...
That's good of the zombies, but I mean, you're right. I mean, can I say the right club that they're going to pay? Did you see the post for it? It was just hilarious.
No,
the guy put up this post. Was it a Facebook or a Twitter post?
It was Twitter, but it's only...
I just showed you how thick they are.
No, he'd worked it out back, Kevin. He'd worked out how many people would need to put a tenner in. And I thought he's jump on me. And we were just like, what planet are you on, pal? Absolutely brilliant.
Game was pish.
Well, I was just going to come into the game, but just before we get to the game, I just wanted to talk, obviously, just to pass on our own thoughts to the two guys that are languishing in a Dutch jail. One thing around that, two things. I'll make one announcement now because it kind of fits in for the Celtic Trust, and it's an invitation to come and give evidence from Amsterdam, and they're going to try and pull together a case. That's taking place at St Mary's, and it's the Wardroom, Abercrombie Street, Glasgow.
St Mary's,
and that's from 11 to 1 on Saturday the 16th of November. So visit the Celtic Trust website and you'll get more information on that. They're also launching, or they had launched, an appeal for the Amsterdam 2 to help with legal costs, but I believe they mentioned on Homeboys that they have definitely secured a top lawyer for that who's on the case.
He has since said that it's been police brutality,
It seemed to have changed
the
the story
rain,
6
it should be in
times.
front of the courts. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, these guys are running about with the authority to be thugs. So there's
Well, that's
no
it.
way
That's what it looks
they're
like,
going to turn it around on them. So they've got to arrest somebody.
Who are they answerable to? That's what I asked. That was a bit that they didn't show on the BBC interview. I said, who are these guys answerable to? Because they're not answerable to anyone.
So
That's Scottish politicians should be getting involved in this.
well, that's politicians for you. But the thing is, these two guys they're probably would have lost jobs. They're only young, and if they had done something that was violent or
They can't tell them they can't say what they've done. They don't know.
no, I mean they've not done
Well,
anything.
he's got
If they
suspected
had done
broken
anything, they
jaw.
would have told us.
He's lost his
suspected
teeth.
broken jaw and he's lost his teeth.
Correct.
He's not got a pair of shoes.
I mean, where's the proportionality in that? No matter what you've done,
you're trying
would
to
you
say,
expect that?
can we do anything about this? There's not a thing you can do. And if these people are getting back to the top, there's not a thing you can do.
Well, that's
All
the
we can
point
do-
about the mayor. The mayor put in emergency cover and provisions for that on Wednesday and Thursday.
Because
So
the royal family was in.
they were given effectively carte blanche to do whatever they wanted.
Or else it was Miley Cyrus, she was there as well.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Just before we go into the actual game, I wonder if you can. What can you tell me about Hans Christian Andersen?
Wonderful.
You want to tell the lads a story?
He tells as many stories as him.
There wasn't much of a story. We went to Copenhagen, we went for a couple of days, back to the plane, back to Edinburgh. But
What was your attraction to Copenhagen, Johnny?
Hans Christian Andersen. Can you not remember
It's
when
his
you were
favourite
at
song. I don't actually, I'm dying to see
Come
it.
on.
And he broke into song on the Homeboys. It was superb.
That's a lot.
Well, that was part of
I
their
broke
trip.
into song. I was actually going to sing the full lot, but I only sang Wonderful, Wonderful.
Brilliant. Okay, let's talk about the game for all it's worth. I'm going to attempt to give you the team. We'll see if I've managed to copy down the right team.
By the way, we're at 41 and a half minutes, so
That's
no
not
to
bad.
rush you or anything.
But
I want to get to bed tonight.
The bars, Neil.
So the team we went with was Forster and goal, Lustig, Izagiri, Ambrose, Van Dijk, Brown, Mulgrew, Matthews, Commons, Samaras and Stokes.
Right, this can be quite.
I've got Brown.
This can. I know he's
honestly
fucking
got
murder. He's murder, man.
He's at Ross County. eh?
I wrote it down.
Who take this up for you?
So who was it instead of Brown then?
Oh, crap. We've stopped. Folk know the team. Doesn't matter. We were shite. Samaras didn't kick the ball. Commons didn't kick the ball. Stokes was out of depth at that level. The defence was outstanding. Charlie Mulgrew's never a midfielder. And Kyle tires after 60 minutes. That was it. Game over. Move on.
But see, can you remember when first got the podcast I done about Charlie Mulgrew?
Uh-huh.
Every one of us says left back, no. Centre half, no. Midfielder, no.
No, but
And
see,
he
I
got to
think-
play of the year that year.
I think he's alright at centre half. But I thought our defence was the best part of the team in, last Wednesday.
See the big boy. The big boys.
Oh, the Dutch boys,
Van Dijk.
outstanding. I don't know. I'm not sure who you would drop.
He could be away in January. He's
Aye.
like good.
Aye, that's-
That could be a boom song type
Somebody
scenario.
else said that, boom song.
No, my point is boom song.
Well, just if
he was only there for a short period of time. Not.
But
He's a far better player than boom song. Let me put that on record right now.
Went on to play with the best teams in the world, didn't he? This boy is destined for that, believe me.
By
By the way,
it's the purest Celtic performance in Europe I've seen in a few years.
I think that's fair.
Against a very, very, very
They
average.
were- Their fans were very frustrated, to say the least, with their team.
they scored a
Great goal.
cracking goal.
Aye.
But James Forrest, for me, when he had the chance to have the one,
Aye.
for me, come on,
2 against 1.
He can take another touch and bust the net.
Aye, or give an angle.
But these things happen.
Aye. Kyle's shot as well. It opened right up for him. He could have taken it in.
And they got up the park and score.
Aye, 2 minutes
Aye,
later.
that's right,
2
aye.
minutes later.
But do you not think that the big man nearly set the jerseys in the second half as well?
What big man?
Ambrose.
Aye. And that's no. I mean, we're going on about this. The back four. I don't rate the big man, to tell you the truth.
I like him. I like
Ambrose.
how he plays football. I think
Well,
he does make the odd mistake, but who doesn't?
Maybe stick Charlie at centre half, as you say,
Aye.
and maybe play Ambrose in front of him.
In midfield.
Find him the ball.
Aye.
Well, that would
I
potentially
thought
be
that's where he
better.
would end up, I've got to be honest.
Aye.
I mean, because there's no doubt about it.
That national team
His back
plays it
players
right
as
back.
if they're not there. And there was only 2 or 3 players that beat men that night, and he was one of them. And the other one was
Van Dijk as well.
Aye.
He almost glides by him, he does, but actually, maybe you don't want that at the back. You know, if you've got that in front of the defence, then he's going to lose the ball. I mean, Lennon's come out and said, you know, I'm happy with that because I want somebody to step out for the back. And if you're going to have that, he's going to lose the ball. But actually, in Europe,
No. I
do you know what I mean? You've not got
Can't
the
when
luxury.
you're last man.
If you're in the back 4, you can't lose the ball. It doesn't matter who you're
I
playing.
felt that was one of the major pluses when we were playing in Milan. The fact that our 2 centre backs can bring the ball out,
Yep.
and then it gives their midfield. What do we do here? Do we step forward and that allows space for our midfielders, or do we fall back and it just allows more Celtic players to come on them? And I felt that was one of our strongest points when we played Milan.
But Italian teams will let you come at them, Kevin. They'll let you come at them all day.
I felt that where we were and the move for the goal was coming across the pitch towards us, and you could see it opening up.
Aye,
3 touches before the boy actually got the ball
That
in
was a
front.
class goal.
It was a touch,
Well, it's one touch,
touch, and
Superb. Well,
But see, for being
where
away,
was Lustig? That's the only thing I've not watched it back. I would have thought because we were coming from the
He
left
get beat
side.
with a 1 touch as well. Was it 1-2s? 3 1-2s?
There's no doubt. Listen, it was class.
Aye.
There's a lot.
I thought so. I have no complaints about the goal. We almost did the exact same move at Celtic Park, and the keeper made an outstanding save
Twice.
right through.
The biggest chance we had was the Forest one, because Forest had the opportunity to drive and then goal.
Like Johnny said,
and
commit the goalie,
and play it
get an
square.
angle.
or he could have played it early.
And it just made an upset.
Stokes had a chance as well. Powder puff, his left foot.
But
But see, for being
no good enough.
see, for being away in Europe at half time, nothing each,
Aye.
and I knew we weren't playing great, I was fairly happy at half time. I thought, you know what, we're not playing absolutely terrible, it's nothing each at half time. We certainly weren't out of the game, and it took a great goal for them to score against
I
us.
did, but they were poor.
They're not a great side, no. We got a good
they're not the
player.
worst side I've seen
We're a
either.
better team than them,
Aye.
and they were theirs for the taking. However, I think Sammy
You've got
wasn't
3
fit. I
players
don't
will
think
play,
Collins was
or
fit.
Collins.
I thought Forrest was
The 2 biggest
poor.
players
Aye.
in Europe.
And I guess Stokes, who you mentioned about
Well,
the
when I went into the game,
first time or second time?
it's when I get into when I get in, you actually see the actual play, and I met the guy that was going to be my pal for the rest of the match. He says to me when I went in, it must have been 25, 26 minutes. He says that's the first time Forrest has touched the ball.
That's
Straight
what
away, straight away.
Is that right? Aye.
CQN had said after half an hour Celtic should bring Forrest on.
Aye,
Well,
seen that as a comment. Why don't they bring him on? Okay, we probably don't want to dwell too much more on that. As poor a result as a performance as I've saw
Last quarter.
for a number of years. Aye.
So have you got anything on the agenda about where we stand in the group or anything like that? Because
If you wish to
have you looked
discuss
at
it, Kevin? No, I haven't looked at it.
You would imagine. You would imagine that.
If we win in Barcelona, we're through.
Yeah.
What?
We're
We're
guaranteed
we're
third
guaranteed
place.
European football.
We're guaranteed third place. If we beat Milan and Barca win, we're guaranteed third place.
Barca
As a
win against Milan.
No,
last
Ajax.
game.
Ajax.
Oh, sorry, Ajax.
So
So we would
the
be in
next game.
6 points and Ajax would be in 4, so they would need to beat Milan, and our 6 is better than Milan's 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Ajax,
Yeah.
if Ajax then if the game was a draw, then we could potentially finish second.
Yeah, but another thing, the last minute or the 94th minute
Could
goal
sink us, aye.
really kill us.
Aye.
Aye.
The Celtics
Aye, if we draw with Ajax,
Ahead.
on points. On points, aye.
Right.
And
Aye,
it could
'cause
work like
that's
that.
saying through
It's
the away
actually
goals.
turned out being a great group. It's really been. It's no
That's
been-
very
Group,
close.
aye.
But
We're in the mix.
so Barcelona's next game against Ajax is a huge game,
It's in-
and,
it's in- it's in
and
Amsterdam.
we hold it. We hold the
It's in
fate
Amsterdam.
in our own hands, because I think Barcelona will beat them, even though it's in Amsterdam.
Yep.
And I think that we hold our fate in our own hands.
Do you think we
by
could
beating
take
Milan.
some, if Barcelona win, do you think we can take some that...
Can't now.
Aye.
Take a wee draw. They're merciless.
Yeah.
They're merciless.
Well, if they were at Celtic Park,
I was looking at the flights last night.
Aye.
Because it's
Bahama.
2 weeks before Christmas, and I was thinking about the wee man's desperate to. And there's some good deals.
Right, you went all quiet.
And don't want him to know.
maybe don't
keep it
tell
to
me.
myself.
So why are you talking about it on the podcast? So see if you whisper it in the podcast, it's still on the podcast.
Okay, listen, I'm just conscious of time, guys. I wanted to just briefly talk about the Ross County game because we played early Saturday morning, and I'll just give you the team.
Which team? Is that just the same team?
No, this is the right team. Foster, Fisher, Ambrose, Van Dijk, Izagiri, Mulgrew, Brown, Ledley, Button, Forrest and Pookie. So before the match, Lennon was quite unhappy about the early kick-off. Do you think he was still unhappy come the end of it? Because actually it was
I listened
Well, I said on the radio it was.
I listened to the radio on the way up.
Quite a good
the car
performance.
before he got interviewed, and he was raging. And then John Robertson was on the radio. He's saying he's got a cheat because of the size of the squad he's got.
Aye, what's that got to do with it? Aye. I said John Robertson was going
He
on about
attacked
that.
Lennon big time, and I was shouting in the radio, you know, who the fuck are you, know, Robertson, right? He was going on about it. But what Neil Lennon then came on the radio and says was, didn't get back to 3-4 in the morning, time the guys got to their beds, they come in and get their muscles loosened and all that, and massage, travel back up on the Friday, didn't have any time to work with the guys. But in all real terms, Celtic has got a squad.
They could have got that in Amsterdam.
You know what I mean? For yourself.
A right good massage. But actually, just feels it's just as sorry for the fans because it was fans.
Well,
there.
that's the thing, they forget about the fans.
Exactly.
Flag was up early doors.
Exactly.
Oh, we noticed. Seen it.
I feel sorry for the fans.
Just behind me.
Just back. Man must have been knackered.
I was in my bed at 6 o'clock on Friday night, and I was up then at 6 o'clock on the Saturday morning head up.
So what was your thoughts on the game? I mean, it was a cracking game actually. Thoroughly enjoyed the game. My observation being that
Four heaters.
the pace that we played with and the aggression that we hadn't showed in previous games. Last season we lost. We drew 2, lost 1 or lost
right,
2,
yeah,
2-1. But we seem to match their pace and aggression.
We've learnt for it, I think.
Aye.
I think Joe Wedley, with that pace and aggression and closing down Joe Wedley helps in the team, and Scott Brown helping the team. When you've got a midfield with A2, we missed him in Amsterdam.
I think
No for their skill or ability.
They played the formation
I think that.
and stuck to it, and they got the goals at the right time. I don't think they were any magnificent football against Ross County.
I think that shows we got 4 heaters.
But they stuck to their task, they kept the shape,
Aye.
and they took their chances.
I disagree.
I thought they played well.
I think some of the football.
amazing, but it was some of it was
And I've got, it was good to see
Well,
Van Dijk on the score
yeah,
sheet. He
but
was close, and he should have probably scored before he did.
Could have got that.
I thought Fisher was good, and I thought he played well against Hibs at Easter Road a few weeks ago.
Aye.
So he looks as if he could come into the team and not necessarily keep Lustig or Matthews when he's back fit out the team, but I think he's a player that can come in and acquit himself fairly well. He's obviously just a fairly young laddie, and I thought the balance was right. Collins probably was fitter on Saturday than he was on Wednesday night. Didn't look to me to be. I came on, did not.
He wasn't playing.
No.
I don't think he came on.
I don't
actually.
think they played
Has he just done a Jason, has he?
You see a professional performance.
That was lit.
Made sure they won the game. I mean, because they were dead dangerous of going to lose it.
Well, I don't know, when you said when it was at 2-0 and saying, but we not beating them 2-0 last week, and last year and we could beat 3-2, and honestly, see, just as he finished the full stop in the sentence, fucking Ross County scored. He's his Joe was gone mental. See you shouting, get up, you see that.
There's nothing worse than no being out of football.
No, there is one thing worse than no being out of football. No being out of football and sitting on your couch watching it with Joe.
He's terrible.
He's brutal.
Did it show you the much about the Ross County right back? He had lost a plot.
Having Brown was brilliant.
The Dundee United. What's his
Ivanovic or something.
They had a running feud. It was brilliant.
But honest to God, Vince, he should be sent off 3 times. The rate was Ritson like in terms of the red wrist coming down.
You seen Bruni just smiling, it didn't show you much, but
he was just charging about, blottering people, and then he had a go at Joe Ledley. Joe Ledley tackled him, and he kind of turned away, and he went back. He ran at Joe Ledley, cocked his fist back as if he was going to clock him. It was unbelievable.
The second or third goal, do you see?
I didn't show you that on the TV.
So I said, get booked for that. He went right up to his face.
Well, I said to the boy next to me, I said, like, that boy's red misses down. He's no finishing the game. He's either sent off, or he's going to get substituted soon. And I think two incidents later, boards went up because there was no way he was finishing the game in 90 minutes.
Bruni was just laughing at him. I like how, I know he gets sent off against Barcelona, but I like how Bruni's no reacting a lot of the time, and he is. It is that smiling, and it's getting all our players more annoyed. Barcelona was out of character in terms of how he's been in the past year and a bit.
Well, just touching that's a bit disappointing. He didn't get it reduced.
He's
extra 2 games to reduce to
the
1.
highlights of the rest of the Scottish games this weekend. By the way, see the boy who plays with Dundee United.
He's
17-year-old.
young boy.
What's his name? Is this a midfield guy?
What? It's what too. What a player. Honestly, that's 3 times I've watched him on just highlights on TV.
Well,
what a player.
was he playing against us? A couple of weeks ago.
He was on the bench.
He's 17. He's
good player,
honestly, he's just signed a new contract, so
I hope he stays. I don't want to. You want him Dundee United and Jacket today. I want them to do all right.
No, I don't want it. I don't want anything to beat Celtic, but I like.
Aye.
But honestly, the guy. I mean,
they've got a couple of good players up there.
If you can get the chance to watch the highlights of the Dundee United and Mallow game in Fair Park, the guys look two belters.
And we were talking about Aberdeen as well in the motor.
Some crowd there.
And then they get beat with Hearts. You think they're going to set up a wee...
the guy gets sent off for nothing, but...
That was Robson, wasn't it? Barry Robson.
The place was full.
Aye.
There was 20,000.
So that's what I want to see. Aye, exactly. Course. Aberdeen and Dundee. See, when we were younger, Aberdeen and Dundee United were freaking great teams.
So just to close off this first section, then that's our next team. Then looking forward to playing Aberdeen. That's
I think it'll be a good game.
Sitting third in the league. I've been quite impressed with Aberdeen this season.
Aye. Niall McGinn's doing really well.
And I
think
he had a chance to score to put them 2-0 up.
That's a penalty.
That's a bit disappointing.
He's scored a lot of goals for them in the past year and a bit, and he seems to be enjoying it up there, and good luck to him. I hope he's still a Celtic man. You still see him in the Phoenix Bar and Bar 67 and all the places in the Gallagher.
But Aberdeen was the top scorer of Scotland last year.
Okay, so that'll finish off that first section. Cheers. Remember, you can get in touch via Twitter, Facebook, our website and our email address, which is mail@carluckshamrock.com. And the top news obviously being that carluckshamrock.com is back up and running. That means that mail@carluckshamrock.com is available if you have any requests or inquiries. So listeners can also subscribe to our mailing list on the site, and that will let you keep up to date with all the podcast releases. The only thing I can say about the boss is that tonight he's actually in a secret location as we speak. He's been dragged into a murky world and we're fearing for his safety. The only other thing I can say about it is that he is actually working on a top secret audiobook project with Mr. Paul Larkin. And TicTalk were at the recent Glasgow book launch on the 2nd of November. Recorded a video cast which will be released on the 1st of December. So look out for that. Other announcements: the Kano Foundation are planning a dinner dance for March next year. They're attempting through Jason from the Homeboys to pull together all of the Hail Hail Media podcasters. So we're hoping that lots of the guys on the podcast will come along. So look out for more info, and also follow the Kano Foundation at Kano Foundation for all their efforts and appeals. The next announcement: our good and gorgeous, apparently, it says here, friend Kerry McGeoch. Do you know that person, Brian? Who is at Wee Kezabel on Twitter. She's fast approaching her fundraising target for heading to the Kyberia slums with the Celtic Charity Foundation. So listeners can help donate funds at mydonate.bt.com/Erin Kerry.
You're doing well.
We're getting there. Quite a lot of announcements this week. Another shout out to the latest Celtic History podcast. I don't know if you've been downloading these guys, but they're absolutely fantastic. The latest ones have just been released by the podfather, Chris McGuigan. These can be found on hailhailmedia.com. So go along there, have a listen, throw a few quid into the pot for the nominated charities, and they're absolutely fantastic. You'll not be disappointed about that. And a final shout out to the last special TicTalk podcast, which was with Stephen Sullivan, who's wrote the recent book on Sean Fallon. So I don't know if anybody's, have you picked up that book yet? I've not got it yet, but I'm hoping to get it.
Santa Claus is.
It's in your stall.
Aye. So it sounds absolutely fantastic, actually. Okay, so a couple of hot topics I wanted to talk about, guys. Did any of you come across the Maryhill Food Bank collections at Partick Thistle?
I was there, right.
It was the girl on...
Johnny looks as if he took out me in the pan.
Well, honestly, by the way, I've never ever seen the guys walking up to a football match with carrier bags.
Did you see the tweet?
70. Because everybody used to have a carrier bag.
In the 70s.
Honestly, it was amazing. I swear to God.
Did you see some of the photographs on Twitter?
Aye, it was. That's the thing, that's the word, heartwarming. It was brilliant. I mean, never the Partick Thistle, even seeing guys, I don't know, they weren't going to the football, I don't imagine. They were just giving bags away back to the pub. And everybody was in great spirits. It was brilliant. McAvenny was there. I seen him.
And
Bertwald. It was amazing, honestly. And I think they've managed to get enough stuff for that day to see them through the match.
I listened to the girl. Listened to the girl on Homeboys. She sounds absolutely amazing. She sounds absolutely brilliant. She was the one that was organising it, and it just. It's a horrible thought that these things are needed in this age. It's shameful.
There's actually one in Perth, by the way.
Is it? Yep. Well, in actual fact, it made me start to think, what could we do? Do you know?
I've asked about, but there's definitely one in Killout, but I don't know much. But I've asked about, and the person that's seemingly involved has not really get back to me, but I'll find it.
Aye, because that would be good to do something. Because it's in this day and age in Scotland, that's supposed to be a wealthy nation, that people are still starving.
6th richest country in the world.
Still, people are going hungry, and it's kids.
It's absolutely ridiculous. But in actual fact, this kind of movement is just, as Johnny said, you know, it's so heartwarming.
It's great.
People pulled together and did that.
You know me, I usually go for a few pints before the game. That day I never. We went at big days, and in fact I drove and we had the bags and two as well. You know what I mean? Usually they'd be full.
Drove, must be a local game.
But she talked about how they're kind of spreading and developing, and they're working with other people and trying getting more and more of these food banks.
It's brilliant, very commendable, and it was outstanding. It was heartwarming's the right word. And on Twitter, when you seen, it was Food Mountains, you seen, there was a van, a transit van packed full, a white transit packed full of food, and then all these hundreds of bags round about it. They obviously they were totally overwhelmed with the response from both sets of supporters. Outstanding.
It can be done.
Easy.
Every other game for every other club. I mean.
But actually, just until you said Carluke there, I'd actually thought to myself, I wonder what we could do or somewhere else in Glasgow. I hadn't actually thought of Carluke. Do you know what? Do
you remember when we were all wee, we used to deliver the food parcels for St Vincent de Paul?
That's right.
Do you remember doing that?
That's true, right? That's true. I mean, you never fortunate.
Some old dear missed out on a packet of shortbread. 1 year.
Oh, you never.
I'm just kidding. I'm just confessing now.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I've got an old dear Sean.
My belly.
It's alright, I'm doing the one pair of states, so there must have been money. He didn't need the shortbread.
Oh, Brian, that's
Moving on.
Okay.
Guilty as charged.
It's maybe something we should bring up as a club, actually. What could we do as a club?
Just keep me away from the shortbread.
To keep me away. Johnny, Okay, just another couple of things I'd noted actually today was an announcement talking about the development work at Celtic Park. So that's the start.
School got knocked down the day.
No,
Was that
never
today,
that
was
was in the day.
Oh, was it?
Right.
Yeah,
Supposed to get
That was
knocked down
me.
the day. He gets a boot.
I was in getting my tickets for the Motherwell game.
It was scheduled, wasn't it?
The stewards are at the turn-ins, right to Celtic Park, in the main bit. The new...
John, is that cake
Take it off.
sticking in your mouth there? Let's take a wee drink.
behind the...
Johnny's starting his own food bank.
But it's it's going to be...
It's imminent.
Aye.
But all the barriers are... It's going to be a new facelift for the front of the
We're talking
stadium
about
and all.
specifically the kind of walk-in thing.
Aye.
I've seen the plans. It looks fantastic.
Aye, it does.
Is
It
that
looks great.
Is that the Avenue of Legends or
Celtic
whatever?
Walk.
Well, I will say, but I'm going to shed a tear for the school, and used to will need to shed them
park in
in
there,
because we
aye.
used to be there every week.
Aye.
The brown passat.
I mean, Father Gallagher would be the first motor, and we'd gone, and then Joe Macaulay would come in the other motor, and whoever, and Father Gallagher would put the
Tick it up.
badge up, and we'd all park in there, and it's
So
well.
it took two cars sorry to carry the one priest. Is that what you're saying?
Well, some of them, depending on
Some
who
of
was
the
on the
posse.
drink that night, would go in the car behind. I was always in the van with Father Gallagher. I always had a drink at that time. But we're talking about the adults then. They were the days, by the way.
Good memories,
We parked in there that night when we beat Real Madrid, if you can remember. Maybe you weren't there, Brian, but you were there,
Aye,
Kevin.
we were both there.
Aye, that was my first European game, I
amazing,
think.
amazing. It was brilliant because you were getting in and you had some of the Celtic, ex-Celtic players were
Aye, legends.
walking to the game. So when that goes, I had a wee look at it today and they had it all.
Aye.
It's just ready to go because they've got the barriers round about the front in the main stand. Obviously, they're going to bring it down.
More recently for me, when I was getting into the game with Brian McDonald for Lark Hall and Joke McStay.
Aye, John, aye.
Parked in there as well.
And
A few years back.
Aye, yeah.
He's got a well-kent face on there.
Well,
so-
Father Gallagher had it here.
Aye. I was scared no to let him in. You've been out
He
boxing.
was the motor like that.
He's been out. Aye.
Directing it.
Brilliant.
Brilliant, good memories, Johnny. Another thing I'd noticed was just a bit of speculation. I don't know if you'd seen the one. The
Icelandic.
Fid Johnson, was that right?
Finlayson.
Finn Johnson.
It's a done deal soon.
I was saying when I looked him up, I couldn't find a club for him. It just said
Fjær.
Iceland
Fjær.
under 21.
I don't know anything about it.
I couldn't find anything.
FJAR. So I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure about that.
But is it a project? Is it a
Work in progress,
work in
130 grand.
progress?
Aye.
Now they're going to have to get rid of somebody then.
Got a few.
Can you see Tony Watt ever coming back?
You see him get sent off, don't you?
Know what I mean?
I know. I heard it was harsh.
joke.
It was a bit harsh.
Absolute joke.
What, embarrassing joke or
Oh,
he didn't deserve?
Said, oh,
It was Wally Collum, wasn't it?
Did I tell you the story about him?
No. Well, can we broadcast it?
Aye.
No, go for it.
We're Joseph's wee boys at christening. So, of course, I'm the godfather and I'm late.
The podfather.
Right, so I get into the front seat, and of course Laura and Joe have got everybody there. So the right hand side of the chapel's mobbed. Aye, packed out, sell out. So I goes down the front and sneaks into my seat, and Father Norton's got the heat down as if to say, oh aye, typical of you. So I sits down 2 minutes later, have the godparents up in the altar.
Sharing a stage view, were you? Sharing an altar.
But I sees the overflow to the other side of the church. 2 rows of people.
The one you
And
know,
I never
one
noticed
you're
them. I never noticed who they were, and I didn't know them. And I'm like, it must be Laura's. So I'm walking up onto the altar with a hangover, and I sees a guy walking straight towards me, and it was Wally Collins.
Red card in hand.
Oh,
Well, you've met me right in the right place.
it's the only place you wouldn't get arrested.
Joe shot
White
White.
says to me, and I'm like, what the fuck's you doing here? And just at that, I sees the lassie behind them with the other baby.
it was a double.
So it was a double.
It's a double.
And I tell you what,
You scud at him.
No, but the hangover and everything.
Speak to him.
No, I didn't. I'll tell you what, but he's never had a pint and a fag in his life. He's never stayed out after 11 o'clock at night. That's one thing I can say.
He's not in here.
No,
You've never been in before at 11 o'clock.
No,
You've never
that's
been
true. What time's it now? Hurry up.
The other one was, and I'll see if I can pronounce it right, was it Zhang Zi? Did you see that?
The Chinese boy.
After signing this deal...
Did he not play for us before?
Yeah, that's the other. What was his name?
Zenzi.
He played 12, he scored at Ibrox.
So it seems to be obviously we're broke into this market for the SPL.
Television.
Apparently, I mean, a lot of the write-ups about the guy seems to be
He's a new Nakamura.
seems to be a fair prospect,
If he's a new Nakamura, he'll do for me.
Aye.
But obviously keen to have some sort of icon if you're going to be in this, breaking into this market. That was some deal the SPL signed.
Is that a Peter Lawwell signing then? Is that what you're
They
saying?
seem to have scouted him, eh?
Peter Lawwell
He's the man that was talking about him, eh? And we'll just finish off the kind of hot topics with a Sefco update. Who's going to give me the latest? What I picked up today was
there more?
BDO, a challenger to the name, and they've asked them they must vary. The name of Rangers has been challenged because they've been using it. We all mentioned that at the time. But they've been ordered. The rumour is they've been ordered to change to a variant of Sefco or something like that. They've got to use a Sefco variant. This is
they can't. They couldn't.
trading as Rangers still.
They couldn't tell them to use a Sefco variant. They could tell them to stop using Rangers.
That's apparently the rumour that's sweeping the
I
city.
would be amazed if that was the case.
Civil unrest, definitely for that.
I think so. What other updates can you give us?
But I didn't know everybody called them Rangers. I thought folk called them Zombies or Sefco.
Well, that's similar, I would call them.
I really don't give a fiddler's fuck about them at all.
No.
When you asked that question, Vincent, I switched off a wee bit there,
I
sorry.
honestly
Right,
do.
well, what I will say, to just join in here, I know Kevin was, Brian was on the telly the other night there, but I think it was it Monday night this week, BBC went live to front Ibrox. And it was a typical, from last year when the guy's standing there getting interviewed. And going, what's
The big
going?
house must stay
Got
open.
my attention a wee bit going, what's fucking happened now?
Remember them?
You know what I mean?
Remember them?
Well, but see,
But that was
there's
every night. It was like Christmas Day for a Celtic fan
There's a
every
lot
single
of that
day.
to come.
So,
It's not going to come again.
Paul's article was quite good today because it seems that the spin is that the police are checking and are thinking that Craig White's forged the signature on the documents saying that about the director of Sefco 5088, when in actual fact the Paul's saying, I hope there's not lots of documents in circulation that show Charles Green's signature looking identical to the one that's allegedly a fake.
I saw one on Twitter,
and I hope that there's especially when Charles Green has indicated that he just signed the document in an interview just to string him along. So
No, he said he gave. I gave, because I didn't need Sefco 5088. I gave the company back to Craig White.
So
I gave it back to Craig White.
So it had it in the first place.
So who had it? Aye.
Honestly,
there's a spin yet again being put on by the Scottish media, which makes it seem that the investigation is slanted towards jailing Craig Brown effectively when
Craig White.
Craig White. But in effect, it's the other thing. It's Charles Green that's probably more complicit in being found against them.
I'm like you, John. I don't want to go over
Anyway,
just because you did get a laugh. But I saw the Charlotte Fakes last night.
And what was that?
But did you read the email from
Malcolm Murray?
No, that one.
Or Walter Smith to Martin
Walter
Bain,
Smith, it was hilarious.
asking for advice.
What to say at the board
Was it
meeting?
no trainer? Was it no trainer?
No, it wasn't trainer. It was
Walter Smith to Martin Bain.
Martin Bain. So Martin Bain had emailed back to Walter, and this is what to look for kind of thing. It was almost kind of this is what to look for in the accounts, and asked this question about the expenses, trading the account, whatever it was. It was just hilarious, man, absolutely brilliant.
But there's been some dynamite stuff released again. But do you know what? I've just kind of resigned to the fact that it doesn't matter what happens, how guilty Old Rangers, Sevco, it doesn't matter what hand,
Yeah.
they'll always have a place at the table.
In Scottish football, yeah.
And it's just great where they are at the moment. It's fantastic.
Enjoy it, as you says to me, when I used to phone you every day when it began. And, what, 2 years ago?
Maybe more.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
And I have.
Aye.
Thoroughly.
I'm still
And I think we've still got another 2 or 3 years to go yet, actually.
But even what was it? Who was it that said recently? Someone, an ex-Rangers director or something, that Craig, was it Malcolm Murray? Craig, we've got to thank Charles Green. At least he managed to take Rangers out of administration.
No, it was the press. It was that King, that guy.
Just honest to God, man.
Challenge.
Revisionism. Oh, did they? Unbelievable.
I thought they were looking at it.
No, I know, Vince.
Aye, that's how-
Silly, is it? BD were just there for no reason whatsoever.
But there was another quote today. I was seen on Twitter. It was either this morning or yesterday. It was Mark Hateley back in 2001 about Rangers are going stratospheric. They're leaving the rest of Scottish football behind. And they'll be out of the SPL in 10 years' time. And how right he was. Brilliant.
He's brilliant.
Okay, and on that we'll move on.
You're leaving Scottish football.
Tick tock, 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 tock. Shambolic.
Okay, thanks Chico. For Shambolic tonight I threw it to the panel the following question. Most underrated Celtic players. So what players were vital to Celtic but were never really liked or appreciated? So who wants to kick
I'll
off?
go first because I've
So
got a
Brian?
player in the current squad.
Oh,
George Samaras. The way he's treated with the Celtic fans over the past few years has been shocking. The guy has been outstanding as far as I'm concerned for Celtic. He's one of our best players, if not the best player at the club at the moment. And it's not happened recently, but 2 years ago he came on as a substitute against Hibs and was booed coming on the pitch. I've never seen a Celtic player booed coming on the pitch. He's the only guy I've ever seen that happen with. He's so underrated. You hear guys shouting at him, and I know people around this table, we all know he's frustrating, but he's an outstanding player. He's changed. He's a match winner for us. Do you think Jimmy Johnson played brilliant every game? He didn't. I'm not saying George Samaras is Jimmy Johnson, but he's one of our best players at the moment. And the way the Celtic fans, when he's not quite on his game, or the first guy tries to get by at the start of a game, he loses the ball, and it's always, that's shite, that's and the crowd, you hear the crowd.
It polarises the sport, and that's obvious. But you take a game like, the frustrating thing for me is not just Samaras. You take the Ajax game where there was three, but any time we got the ball, there's three running them. So what does that mean? Somewhere in the pitch,
there,
you know, and we didn't
utilise it.
Very strong respect for him as well, Vincent.
But that's the thing, I agree with you, Brian. I never liked him. I like him because he's proved a lot of people wrong. But that's the thing, if there's three people round about him, the quick ball's the fucking best answer. Excuse the fucking language. But he doesn't do it.
He'll not release it.
He'll
run
He's
into
got no vision.
He'll run into that.
I disagree. I disagree.
But his best position is on the left side, coming in.
Aye.
Not the last man, and that's the bottom line. You see it.
So
if you're up-
striking, aye.
Aye.
Lone striker.
But we were at the AGM a couple of years ago, and a guy stood up at the AGM and says to Neil Lennon, why did you...
ridiculous
why,
question.
Remember that?
Aye.
Why did you re-sign him? He's going to get you the sack. And that just... Remember, I can't mean...
Neil Lennon's answer was he might get a sack.
He might get me the sack,
aye.
you know.
He's
but
one of these players, he's
frustrating.
Very, very gifted.
Yeah.
And he's the type of player that could get me the sack.
Yeah.
But the guy's question was absolutely ridiculous.
I think he's a great
question
player,
to ask
but
at
the
an
point
AGM.
being, when he's confronted, like Johnny says, if he's confronted with two or three players, I think you're right. He should be releasing the ball quicker. That's where I get frustrated, and he almost runs down the blind alley sometimes, and you think, and you know what's coming. Sometimes I still think he's a great player, Brian, but I just think that's the weakness and the frustration. He almost doesn't help himself in that respect.
But do you know what? See Celtic fans moaning at any Celtic player when they're on the pitch. Out of any, how many do you think makes that player play better?
I don't dare, so I agree with you.
It's terrible.
Aye.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I
mean, you can sit down and say offer.
Aye. But see the guys round about us that you hear actually shouting
you know the
abuse,
guy, I think,
absolutely ridiculous abuse.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't shout abuse like that to some of the opposition players.
But that's
some of the things I've heard.
That's a reflection on them as people as opposed to what's going on in our club.
But in general terms, in my opinion, George Samaras is the most underrated player that I can remember watching among the Celtic support.
No. Good shout, good shout. Who's next?
I'm not going to disagree. You can do it. I mean, the cracking game against Barcelona, I thought he took it with a scruff of the neck that night.
Some great games in
He
Europe.
was strong and that. But
Hey Johnny, give us yours.
I've got 3.
And you need to lean in because you can't hear you.
I've got, I'll go one, it's Tommy Coyne.
That was mine, yeah.
Tommy Coyne was much maligned as a Celtic player.
Aye, I like Tommy
And
Coyne.
he went through a wee spell, and he get dogs abuse, but he was there at a bad time, obviously. Somebody.
I don't remember Tommy Coyne getting the abuse.
Well, he got abuse.
He must
believe
have
me.
sitters as well.
I'll tell you the reason why.
Do you know what his record
I can
was?
remember.
I looked at it today because that was one of mine. I can't remember the stats.
He came on. I can't remember if he was a sub or if he played that day. We beat Aberdeen 1-0, and if we had lost that game,
They would have won the
they
league
would have won the league.
and stopped.
And Tommy went on and he scored a few goals to the end of the season, and I'm sure that might have been.
That was the first game we'd won in 10
and Tommy
game week.
scored. I think he came on as a sub and scored. But the thing about it is, we get rid of him. We went to Motherwell. He was a thorn on our side, and he went on and played for the Irish international team.
That's right,
Tommy was a great player, and he had a hard time as well. I think he had an illness in the family.
That's right, I remember
So maybe that reflected on his performances for Celtic at the time. Another one
That's a good one,
for
Tommy
me
Coyne,
is Paul Telfer. Is it Telfer? Paul
another
Telfer,
good
right
shout.
back.
Aye.
I thought
Striking,
when he played for Celtic at right back, he done for Nakamura unbelievable work.
He done his shift,
He done Nakamura's shift and brought him into play, and I thought he could, because he was Strachan's
Brother-in-law or something.
whatever it was, it doesn't matter. And I thought the guy was a good right back and done as well for a couple of years he was there maybe. And the other one is Gordon Strachan.
Oh.
I mean, every Celtic fan loves that guy now.
Aye.
That's a good shout.
He
But he didn't play.
didn't play, but he's a Celtic man through and through.
Aye, he's changed the question, but I love him. Because that's a good
I
shout.
think Gordon Strachan.
He's a great
I would
ambassador
love him to
for
walk
Celtic.
in here now, and I would say, because I was there when the Celtic fans
Well, do you know what?
Do you know he would love to be involved in a discussion now about Celtic?
I love
Because he
Gordon
just
Strachan.
how he talks about us
I had
on
so
the
much
beach. Every
admiration
time.
for him, but the next season, remember when he came on in the park? I was either the first game or one of the very early games, and he spoke about Celtic. It was a half time or something like that. He actually spoke to the crowd. Were you not at that game?
I wouldn't have won the week.
Everything he says
I
about
know,
Celtic is
he
good.
won the park.
It's
Well,
good.
he came on early that season. I'm almost certain he did. He came and he spoke. He spoke to the fans.
He did, you're right.
But see at the time,
I don't remember.
Johnny, I was one of, and there's no revisionism here. I was one of the ones that actually I loved Gordon Strachan when he was at Celtic, and I wished Gordon Strachan had done a Ferguson with Celtic. I would have let Gordon Strachan stay forever. But I understand what happened at the time, and he was still almost
getting the rate
trimming the
cards in,
squad, and he was still. And the football, if you remember rightly, the football wasn't great. There was a long period of time where I was thinking.
Listen,
But do you know what?
That guy got us to the last 16.
Exactly. Twice. Well, he was trimming the squad.
And 3 in a row.
Aye, and some of them say that Gary Caldwell and Big Mick McManus were the worst centre-half pairing.
They did one of the best records.
Honestly, I was there that night in the San Siro. They were unlucky. They were very unlucky.
Aye,
that
it went
night.
to extra time.
Aye, Kakas got.
Aye, we had a Stonewall penalty the first half where Maldini nearly caught the ball.
And listen, and you watch Scotland are 2-1 on Friday. Get your money on them.
I tell you, see, regardless of.
Milan end, remember?
No, I wasn't.
See if Gordon Strachan had actually been absolutely crap, I'd still love him. Because see, every time I hear Gordon Strachan, it engages me so much. I actually just think the guy is
he's
brilliant, and I love the way he talks about Celtic. I love the way he talks about Celtic because he's very open and honest about it. You know, he wasn't a Celtic fan, and actually, how many Celtic fans absolutely hated him before he came? But
he's a hippie.
for his,
I mean, what do you mean before he
Aberdeen?
came? Johnny's right. A lot of Celtic fans hated him when he was there.
Big time.
I can remember being at Tannadice and we were on a good run.
That's another great show.
And we were trying to get, there's only one Gordon Strachan, and it never took off.
No.
But now I think the guys will think back to themselves and say, well, this guy, I mean, he loves the Celtic now.
You've got to remember it's all relative. In the last 2 seasons when he was at Celtic Park, one of them we won the 3rd title in a row. It was shocking football. We ground out the result. I know, but it's in context. That's what I'm trying to say. The fourth season when we lost the league, we had a 10-point lead, and we should never have lost a 10-point league. And our performances in the last half of the season, from when we won at Ibrox on the 27th of December, were absolutely shocking as well.
I've got my own theory about that.
And,
but I won't mention it here.
and well, I've got my
Peter Law,
well.
hope you're not listening.
It's so it's, you've got to put it in context, and there's not many. You would have been the minority, Vincent, of Celtic fans who would have said, "Do you want him to stay? Yes or no?" And the vast majority would have said no, based upon the performance. And see, to be honest, my personal view is our performances just now are not greatly different from what they were in Gordon Strachan's last 2 seasons.
I think the hard thing for most fans is to see the bigger picture, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, but in actual fact at that time I was thinking, do you know what, I can see what this guy's done in terms of time in the squad, getting to the last 16 twice, which was a phenomenal record. And you know the one thing that really endeared me to him, they go to the media hate him. Do you know what I mean? In actual fact, and I loved that because he had no time for them. In actual fact, he had much more time, and he was at that time he was much more respected down south than he ever was up here.
Right.
And they absolutely love him down there.
That was the same with Martin O'Neill as well. He was respected down south, and the media up here is because he's Celtic manager.
He's brilliant with the media.
He's great. He's great.
He's well thought he's in every channel now.
But he's good because why should somebody in the media that knows nothing about football ask him about his job? I actually believe that. That's why. That's the way he treats them.
But Gordon, the media love him now because he's Scotland manager. Because they don't love him because he's Celtic.
Guy in the last Scotland game at Hampden, the boy asked him about the wee, what's his name?
Anya.
Has he got to be playing? No, have you spoke to him? No, what was it he says to him? He says he'll definitely be right in your squad, and he's like, I don't know yet, I've not spoke to him. And the boy's like, right, on to another question. As if they say, you go to reporting, son, I'll go and
I'll do the picking.
I remember Peter Martin asking my question, and it was something just won a Champions League game or something like that, and I'm like, are you happy, Gordon? And he just kind of stared at him. So I've just won a Champions League game. Do you think I'm going to be sad? Just kind of just cut him down.
He asked him a question, and he mentioned
what do you want to know about football?
Just tell me about childbirth. He didn't really need to say that, but
and actually, there's a couple of
his attitude. I like his attitude because if you don't know anything about football, which we all think we do, and at the end of the day we don't. I mean, the last person I want to ask a question is Gordon Strachan. Honestly,
Or Martin O'Neill for that matter. Guys like that.
And he's absolutely sharp as a tack.
I asked the manager, the boss, I says, would you like to interview Gordon Strachan? After that interview that night, he's like, easy. When you go then, Richard.
The boss.
I'd love to interview him, but
no. You're having a laugh, aren't you?
No, I think he's firm but fair,
It depends on the context. If you're interviewing them to write for his son, or you're interviewing them as a Celtic fan, wanting them to talk about Celtic. 2
games I was at, and the boy tried to hit me a bottle of bucky twice. I said, I wish I'd have hit you at that time.
Sold a few thousand.
That was what he was like back when he played with Aberdeen. He was a great player, and he was in your face. If he scored a goal, it was in your face.
But it's like it's one of the very fact that he didn't love Celtic before he came, and the fact that now he absolutely loves, and he can't stop talking with Celtic, and he talks such glowing terms. That's the bit that really endears me to him. Okay, Kevin, what's yours? That was 3 brilliant ones there, John.
Well done, John.
A player I always liked I liked Anton Rogan. And when he initially dropped into the Celtic team, he looked as if he could be a mainstay at left back for the next 10 years. Remember his foraging, because Celtic have never really had a great left back. And as far as I can remember, growing up, they never had great left backs.
Tommy Gennell, then the next one would have been.
Well, he's not my generation, but Johnny,
they had John Brogan, and then after that, you'd have been Tommy Boyd. Mark Reid played in the 80s. But Tommy Burns and McLeod went back. I mean,
I always felt he was
struggled.
I always felt he was underrated, and I remember when he came into the team and people were saying, we've got ourselves a really good left back, and just things conspired against him at different points. And lost, and obviously he was the one of two players that missed the penalty kick, and he kind of got saddled with we knew Rogan was going to miss it and stuff like that. And well, at least he hit the target. But who was it? Was it Reaper? Somebody bowled over. Who was it? Bowled over the bar.
That was Dobchek. But you're right with Anton Rogan, because see when Anton Rogan played his first season, Big Billy signed Chris Morris, and he played straight at the back. And Brogan got up and down that wing, and he did have a good season.
And you've also got to put into the context of where he'd come from, the fact that he got an international recognition, and then he got appalling treatment. He was going on, he was getting booed and songs sung against him and stuff from his fellow countrymen. And I think he just probably eventually lost a bit of confidence. Fans started getting on top of him, and it's so often the case with kind of young players at Celtic rear. I've got a personal view that by and large, and there's always exceptions to every rule, but by and large, young players coming through, when things start going against them and they hit a period of poor form, tend to get more abuse than somebody. So I think even Jerry Craney, Forrest's a good example.
Aidan McGeady.
Jerry Craney going back to, Tony Shepherd, the other Jerry Craney that
Peter Grant.
You're thinking Danny Craney, sorry. Jerry Craney was scoring goals for fun, hit a bleak spell in a poor Celtic team. And then all of a sudden fans were wanting rid of him and ended up going to Man City or something like that for next to nothing. When the season before he was the top scorer and was banging in goals for fun. And as a general feeling, I feel that young players get coming.
Where did Rogan go after Celtic?
I don't think
he played for Oxford. He played for Oxford.
He went down and never went
He went to.
He's still a season ticket holder at Celtic Park.
He went to a big team. Did he not go to Sunderland or something like that? And ended up filming down the divisions.
Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United or something.
Definitely not.
He's on one of the
podcasts.
And he talks so well.
I think
that listener.
He tells you that himself. He didn't want to go, but they called him in and said, "Look, we've accepted an offer for you." And no problem. Your card was bad. You can either go or stay. If you stay, you're not playing. So I'm sure it was Sunderland he went to, and then he ended up drifting down the divisions. And he played when he ended up at Oxford. Oxford were in the equivalent of the Championship or something like that.
Play high up.
And I think he played there for something like 8, 9, 10 years. And then he lives in Oxford now. That's where he's settled down, wife and family.
Oh, he stays in Oxford, does he?
That's good to hear him, man. Michael?
Well, I was my thunder was taking you up with Paul Telfer. That was my sort of ace in the garden night. I couldn't believe it, Johnny, you came out with that. We also touched on a partnership. I'm going to throw two guys in. It was Gary Caldwell and Mick McManus. Now, I see Brian making faces here, right, but I'll tell you something now. See for, and Kevin, you're making them as well, see for experience at the back, I thought they two always punched above their weight. But
I'll give you McManus.
Right, I'll give you McManus.
I'll give you Caldwell.
No.
But listen, hey, the guy came for Hibs, and I thought the guy had done a tremendous show for Celtic.
See for a
because then you go back to Gordon Strachan.
And you look at
that was his two mainstays and we get through Champions League.
McManus won the league. The 2 goals and the time when we ended up winning 3-2 and we were getting beat 2-0.
He scored against Hibs as well.
I suppose I'm maybe thinking of personalities because I just thought I just didn't like Gary Caldwell at all, and it wasn't just his footballing ability, the way his disdain for the Celtic support turns me off the guy in terms of some of the
No,
stuff
but
he's saying. Don't criticise. What was he said something like, "Don't criticise me." You're paying Celtic supporters. I'll decide when I've had a bad game. This is after scoring an OG. And how many OGs did he score?
I was disappointed when McManus left. I was.
No,
'Cause I thought the big guy was a Celtic man through and through.
For a couple of years, they done as well.
Aye.
They two in the centre of defence, you're right, for a period of time had an absolutely incredible record, by the way. I think very much
You can
underrated.
remember the night they beat the old team for Glasgow when it was Caldwell fired the ball into Scott McDonald and he knocked it up the way for
Vanager.
I mean, he had moments like that. I mean, Gary Caldwell fired a shot in and the big goalie palmed it out for Scott McDonald. Mick McManus scored that night as well. You've got a point. I think they two were much maligned as
Could
well.
somebody please mention Peter Bloody Grant, because Jim Craney will go mental.
I think it was
I mentioned him earlier. I mentioned him earlier when Kevin was talking.
Peter Grant be mentioned, because we'll get stung
going
up.
to get the Inverness job.
Oh, Peter Grant, is that an outside shout?
I don't think so.
Telling you.
Can we mention Lex Bailey and that as well?
He's a he's a Dutch copper, don't mention him.
What about the other one? Malky Mackay.
Scored against the Rangers, so we'll give you
Aye, Malky Mackay. Yeah.
MD that scores against Rangers, a legend.
Paul Byrne.
Aye, twice. Big Roy says...
He's a legend for other reasons.
Big Roy says...
The game.
You make your name with Celtic when you score against the Rangers, so...
Cascarino.
Oh, remember that through the keeper's legs.
Aye, big Nigel Spinton, his best pal, poker pal.
There you are.
There you go. Conspiracy.
That's no bad, that's a right few good ones there. So, well done, guys. So I think on that note, we're just going to wrap up. I'm Vincent at Vincenzo Sir on Twitter, and tonight our panel have been
Johnny.
Michael.
Kevin.
Brian.
Okay, thank you very much. Hail.
Hail.